Okay, here we go. Now, some people have asked me about this. I've done this in the past. When my son was young, we would go to the library during the summertime. I was divorced, and of course, looking for things to do with your son or your daughter or whatever, or sons, daughters and sons, whatever, maybe you have multiples. And we would go and rent a VCR tape at the library, not rent, but give it at the library. And then he would want to get some books. They had one of those book reading club kind of things where you can win prizes. And I always try to get him to get books that didn't have where he could just not read the book and look at the photo. I mean, I guess that's good too, to look at the illustration and try to say what it was. But this is what we did. We were walking through there and we found some roofing screws, like from a screwdriver, where you put in multiple screws, and they're about that long, I guess, and they're black screws. And they came from a screw gun or something like that. And we found some in the children's play area. And we did have a metal detector. Not a great one. We still have the same metal detector. It's more of a hobbyist one. Looks like something you probably get from like Radio Shack or something. It's a Garrett, but a very, very basic, very basic one. It was on clearance at Finger Hut, and they were just saying you can get good credit. You have good credit, you can buy these things on credit. But I didn't really want to buy anything on credit because I'm sure the interest rates would be very, very high if they have interest rates. I don't know, but they had a clearance section, and this was in the winter time, so maybe it's more of a summer purchase. And they had a $240 metal detector, and I think it was $125. It's very, very basic, very basic. But I thought, well, we can take that out there and see if we can find other things that might be a hazard. So this is kind of like a treasure hunt in reverse. We're looking for safety hazards. So we weren't really looking to find gold. People always walk by, if you find any gold, it's mine. Or I lost a Rolex in that sand pit. I think you probably would have gone on your hands and knees and gone like this all over the whole playground area to find your Rolex. So we decided what we would do is try to clean out some of these ones, and we asked about the rules for that. To do that, was there anything we need to do special? They said no, it's fine, we appreciate it, because we do have problems with that. Now, when we first found things, we thought, well, that could have been just somebody maybe was doing some roofing. Maybe he's a roofing man or woman. Usually they are men. Maybe he's pushing his kids on the swing set, and he forgot he had some of the roofing nails in his pocket that could have fallen out. But then we started finding very strange things. We find things like if the slide went down this way, we found nails pointing this way. And they had a problem here in LA County. This is in Riverside County, but they have had a problem in LA County in the past. The kittens are trying to play with this stuff, but it's the Hazzard one. But they did find someone that was purposely putting items out there for kids to get injured on. Everything from a cut to maybe some kind of a biohazard, human fluids on things or whatever. So here's an example of some of the things that I found on my own when I was hiding when I went to hide a treasure hunt item. No, you go over there. She wants to say hello. Okay, you say hello. Hello. Okay, we didn't find the cats in the thing, but cats do like the sand, so I have found cat poop. But we're out there, and we noticed that some people were doing this intentionally, it looks like, and I think they did make an arrest. So we would just do some of them around town, and when I went to go hide the items, then I thought, I'll bring my metal detector, see what I can find. And I thought, let's go to the play areas and try to find something. But this is the reverse of everything. When you're using your metal detector, usually you're on a treasure hunt for good stuff. You want to find some gold, you want to find some coins, maybe some recently clad coins, is that what they're called? Maybe some old coins, maybe a piece of jewelry. But we're trying to do the exact opposite. If we find nothing, that's a good day. If we find zero, nothing, boo, 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 2 big goose eggs, 2 kitty eggs, hey sweet baby, then that's a good thing. So it's kind of the opposite of things. We're trying to eliminate bad things from the thing. So I did one, and then I did another one. I'm not gonna say where they were because we had mystery items, mystery treasure hunts going on. So we don't want to give away too much information. But we're looking for things that shouldn't be there, and it looks like sometimes people do intentionally do that. Everything from needles, maybe some kind of a sharp. We have a sharp container. Now what we do is we did before. We had a good, the bad, and the ugly. Now this could be for the good or whatever, when we'd have a lid on this. But now it's holding the bad, because I'm going to transfer this items into the sharps container. So we don't carry a sharps container with us, but we carry, we were carrying that like a Home Depot, the 5-gallon buckets that they sell there, and in it had a second like thing like this, and then we had something else for if we found that good. So we'd have the good, which was usually a small container. Then we had the bad, which would be loosely thrown in the bucket, you know, and things that are very harmful, we put in some kind of like this, and that'd be the ugly. That's things that we have to deal with later. And so the good could be a quarter. The good could be a kid's watch. Some of the things we found on the good, where we weren't looking for items, but we did find good. We did find some rings. We found and not a lot of rings. Not like every time we went out we knew we'd find 3 or 4 rings. No. If you see that on YouTube, those are usually staged. So sometimes the guy will use the same rings, or he'll have a wallet, and the wallet has a zipper on there, and it's supposed to be lost for whatever amount of time it was, and it has a few recent coins with $30 and some gold, and the gold is fake. The $30 came out of his wallet, and they bury it and they find it. People say, "Oh, it's good that you were able to find what you buried in the sand." Some people do things that'll bury a briefcase. Now, who's gonna take a huge briefcase to the beach and forget it? I mean, you're probably the only guy on there, or gal, or dude, or your guys and dolls, whatever, that had a briefcase on the beach, and you lost it. One of them, I think he found like a desktop computer. Now, who's a desktop? Unless you stole it and you went to hide it to go get it. Maybe it's a pirate that did that. They said most of the time pirates, they would just divvy up the gold. Every got a percentage. Like the lead pirate, he might get 40% of the booty, and then they would divide all the rest equally by everybody else. They would spend it. That's what they would drink it and spend it and chase the gals and chase the boys and chase whatever. Yeah, so those are all fake. Kind of obvious. The items that we find are not down deep. If we had a rake, we could probably rake everything to one side and kind of look through it, but we don't have a rake, so we use the do-do-do-do-do, and we find items. Now, the items we found, did we ever find a Rolex? No. We did find a broken Timex. We found like a little watch that looks like it came from like a fast food place. It wasn't McDonald's, but it had like a hamburger on it, and it was a little, you push a button and it goes boop, and it pops open, and you can see the oh, that was actually better without the light. But anyway, you could see the time. We found a quarter, a dime. So if we do a whole play area, we might get out of it with 40 cents. That'd be a lot of money for us. Did we find any heavy jewelry? No. We found things like little party favor type rings and plastic with a little bit of metal on there. And sometimes we find things while we're digging up the item. We'll scoop it. We have our metal scoop, and we'll scoop the sand, and maybe a plastic ring will be in there. We found pens, pencils, that kind of stuff. It depends on if there's a school attached to this. Some people ask us while we're out there, could we do their area? Now, private schools, we'd have to get permission, and we're not gonna do this every day. I have to wait till my foot finishes healing. I think on the 3rd, Independence Day Eve, I'll achieve my independence of having a sore foot. My foot will be now healed. It's not really a sore foot; it's an injured foot. But now, a lot of them are using those big rubber mats, the memory foam or whatever they are, the squishy mats, and they don't have sand, so there's no need for us to go out and do that. But we're looking for things that could hurt somebody. So here's some of the things we found. I'm gonna use this metal plate, and I'll pour out some, and then I'll get the rest. There's an open needle in here, so I don't really want to. Well, I can get it off. Well, one thing I'd stuck. Okay, now some of the things I don't even know what they are. So here's what we have. Now, we had found this. So I'm gonna put this back in that. I don't want to poke myself. No, I don't want to poke the kitty. No kitties. Okay. Now this is an uncapped needle. Now this needle, being uncapped, you can see the end of it. Let's see. Don't fall. I'm putting this scale. Okay, you can see the needle sticking out. See how small that is? What is that, about maybe 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch? I'm gonna put that back in there. And there's another one there too that I don't want to touch the end. Okay, this kind, that kind. Now that one looks like a diabetic needle. That goes just under the skin. It's not going into a vein. You gotta find a vein. Now this one here, same thing. That is a needle, and these go onto pens. They screw onto a pen. I'll put in the black part. It screws into a pen, and then you take the pen and you would inject insulin. I have this kind now. I had both kinds, and being a diabetic. Now maybe do a little better, maybe not have to either one. Now those two items could have something on them. I don't think those are drug needles, either one of those. Kitty! They're both so naughty. But anyway, that's only for injecting like drugs, illegal drugs, because those go, those needles go into the veins, and they're different. Now this one is still capped. It has end on it. Now this could be someone that takes insulin. Now some people do take so much insulin, they have to fill the entire syringe. There's some of these syringes that can hold 100 units, and they might have to do a 100 and a 50. So they do one of these and 100. That's a lot of insulin. And some people take insulin 4 or 5 times a day. You know, whatever. Some people take it 2 times a day. Some people, like I take it once a day, and I don't take that much. But this one is capped, so I'm okay with holding on to that one. We found this thing, and we're not sure. I think it's a pin. It looks like a pin that maybe you're supposed to poke things. Maybe it's a fighting pin. It's got that sharp. It's really not sharp, but you know, if you go psycho, you get really hurts me. Okay, we found this battery. Now, some people say these items don't look like they've been underground for a year. Well, they haven't. This could have fallen out of something like a flashlight or something. Move, kitty. Oh, come on, sweetheart. Oh, I know you want to come up. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on. Okay, this could have fallen out of someone's flashlight or something. It's ow. Okay. Don't bite. Bad baby. Okay, now look. There. Hello. Now you go over there. Okay. Now this could fall out of someone's flashlight. Now this stuff is not very deep. Remember, these are about that far deep. It's just the kids don't get hurt when they fall off of the equipment, you know, or play in the sand. So this could have been in there a day. You know, so I'm not finding Egyptian gold. We're not finding old, you know, coins from the Civil War out there, because that sand was brought there. It's not like the sand of the beach, which was, you know, blown in or created somehow. That would be a different story altogether. This is very shallow, and they do rake it, and they do clean it sometimes. It's hard to film with kittens. Okay, let's see what else we found. We found this. Now you can see how dangerous that is. If you're going down a slide or you jump off of the swings, this is sticking out of the thing. Now these aren't things that will probably kill somebody, but you could get hurt pretty bad. And then now your fun day at the park, you're now bleeding all over the place, and your mom is screaming, and you know, everybody at the park, oh my God, what's going on? They call the fire department. So if we could avoid that by finding this before. Now this right here, there's 2 of them hooked together. I don't know if I don't think this was intentionally dropped. I think maybe this came from like maybe one of those, you know, cutters or whatever. I don't know. We found this. Now this is something that has a little value, maybe a little like a Swiss Army style pocket knife. Maybe it's got a lot of different things you can do. Open a can, or that. Does it have scissors? I don't even know. But we found this. So this may have a little bit of value. Maybe that's $1. I don't know. The reason I thought that battery might be from a flashlight. We also found this. So maybe the flashlight fell apart, and I don't know if the battery's any good. I didn't test it. And this could be a problem. It's glass inside. I guess the bulb is glass, so we don't want someone to get hurt on that. Then we found pink Phillips screwdrivers. If you lost a pink Phillips screwdriver, maybe it's yours. I don't know. We found this, which I thought at first was like a long nail, but it's a pin. I mean, I'll keep that out. It's kind of cool. We found this. Maybe someone's trying to open their snack pack pudding cup, and that happened. We found this. There's a sharp edges. If it's in the sand like this, someone could get hurt. Remember, we're picking up everything we found. Fine. Then we found. Let's get these all together as an ensemble. We found this. We got a couple of. Sometimes you don't. If you find like 2 of the same size, you think maybe they were doing some work in the park and this could have fallen. If they're all stuck with a sharp part up by a piece of gym equipment, jungle gym, can you say jungle gym? Something on the playground equipment, then you know probably it was intentional. Okay, we found a little battery. This is from Rite Aid, so we know that's got a little age to it maybe, because Rite Aid is sadly going away. And the final thing we found was now this. Oops. Now this is metal and it has this. Now we do find things that are not metal when we're scooping, like I said. What we try to do is we try to get all these items off the playground. Now we could go into other areas too, because what about the other areas like in the grassy area? Usually the stuff in the grassy area is buried pretty deep, or also maybe it's 15 acres of grassy area and there's you know, a 1/16 of an acre of the playground. Where would you imagine, if you were going to try to get maximum effect for doing something wrong, would you place that? What are the chances of someone finding almost many acres, you know, 300 acres of ground, let's say? What are the chances of some kid come by stepping on that? It's slim. But if you have a small little play area, maybe you got the swing set here, and then you have one of those, when you ride those like that, and a teeter-totter. Do you call it a seesaw or a teeter-totter? That kind of stuff. There's more of a chance that someone can hurt there. So if they can do an intentional thing, don't do it. I'm not telling you to go do that. You'll have a good effect on your damage that you do to somebody. But so anyway, that's what we're gonna do as we can do it. I got a couple of parks I did this park already, but it doesn't mean it's still good. Now the city also goes out, or the county, or the state, whatever kind of park it is, or the federal government. It might be a federal forest area park. They do it as well. Now, some we find are just got the foam thing, and we just walk away. Good. So usually we do is we'll get out, we'll walk to the park and see what they have. Then we go back and get the equipment. I say we. The last time I did it all by myself. I would like to get me one of those things that holds the phone this way. Last time I held my selfie stick, which this is on. I would hold like this, and then go like this. And if I find something, I would put the metal detector down, and then I'd bring the phone, grab the scoop, show what it was, you know, and then whatever. That's how I plan to do it. I may get one of those things go around the neck. I don't have a GoPro, so people have asked me, can I help do this? Sure. I don't know how that would work, other than maybe donating to the cause. If you'd like to come out, we might do a GoFundMe. We probably will do a GoFundMe. Someone asked me to do that. Can do it as a GoFundMe, and I said, sure. Why don't we do it as a GoFundMe? I don't know. Do we need a lot of money? No. A lot of people say, well, you don't need money because you're finding coins and watches, and yeah, the whole time we've done it, probably since 1992, we probably found $30 altogether in coins. One time we did find a $10 bill. We were scooping in a $10 bill was there. So if you'd like to help, the things we need, we'd like to get a pinpointer, and we have the big metal detector, but the little pinpointer, you know, like something like this size, or a little bigger, and then you find it, and you can locate it. They call them pinpointers or locators. That'd be nice. Batteries, we will need batteries for our metal detector. It may be a nice sparkling water, you know. So we're not talking about needing, I'm not saying please donate $400 so we can buy a metal detector. No, we already have a metal detector. Would we like to upgrade that one? Sure. If some good money comes in, maybe we'll buy a nicer one. The one that we have, we dig everything. It has a little setting, which is a turning dial, and you turn the dial, and one is everything that's trash or whatever, and then you go, you know, to the next thing, maybe to avoid aluminum, and then to avoid like nickel. But we want to find everything, so we don't know what the material of the item that it could be a hazard. We don't know. Is it made up? We don't know. We don't want to know what the metal's made of. We want it not to be there. So please don't drop anything. But if you would like to help, there is a on here you could Zelle some money if you like to Zelle a donation, or PayPal's on here. Zelle or I think PayPal both. Here's the phone number. It's 626-484-7806. Maybe I'll put that in the comment section. You're welcome to donate. If you don't want to come out and help, maybe you can and I'll film you. Hi everyone, this is Billy Bob, and he wants to swing the detector, and he's and then we find somebody, we'll stop, and then we run get or I can hold the little scoop, and I hand it to him, and then, hey, look what I found a ballpoint pen, whatever. You're welcome to do that too. So if you want to help, if you want to donate, Don't donate a lot of money. We're not looking for $500 donations. We're looking for $5 donations, $10 donations. It all adds up. If we get some donations, we have a little bit of money there. If we don't get any donations, we can do the basics. We have a basic low-tech metal detector and a bucket and a scoop. That's what we have. That's our. Oh, we have a little shovel like you can always see on the TV things where the lady's out there putting her bulbs in with her little handheld shovel. We have one of those. That's the kind of equipment we have. Going through the sand, we don't need a lot of equipment. We don't need to dig out, something. Maybe someone's leaning back on a tree in 1843 and their brand new gold coin fell out of their pocket, and then they looked and it was dark and they left, and then you find it. Digging. The good thing about the metal detector is it goes down deep enough that we can go all the way down to where the concrete or the dirt is, so we don't have to. We won't miss anything that way. So please, once again, always, please subscribe, please like, please share. Put your comments down below. What do you think? Is this a good idea? Should we do this? Is there a need for this? How often can we do it? How big are the parks? There's some that have some big play areas and some of them have multiple players. Someone said, well, why don't you just do? Why don't you also do things like the volleyball courts? Okay, anything that has sand or dirt. Sometimes they use that bark. We can do that. But if it's like a rubber mat, there's no need to do that. And a lot of the parks are now going into those rubber mat kind of things. But anyway, I think maybe this should be the end. And if you'd like to make a donation, you got the phone number. I'll put the phone number down there, or the email address, or you can write it in the comment section. Hey, I'd like to make a $10 donation. Can I mail it to you? Oh, you could Zelle it, whatever you want to do. And if we do the GoFundMe, we'll put that on here too, and we'll film ourselves doing that and maybe showing some of the things we find, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.